House to Home, presented by RE/MAX Diamond Realty.
Half a day, everybody. It is Tuesday, so that means we are talking about real estate here on House to Home, letting you know what you can do to get the most out of Guam's real estate market. A very, very lucrative, very worthwhile industry, to be sure. Liz Duenas and Gina Campos from RE/MAX Diamond Realty Guam are here. And ladies, I had a topic to kind of toss at you for consideration. What leverage or how much leeway do I have as a potential customer of yours or existing customer if I wanted to bring out some, maybe like a complaint or a grievance or a concern that I wanted to air? How can I go about that?
Well, we're part of the National Association of Realtors and part of the Guam Association of Realtors, and as such, we're governed by code of ethics. So, for example, if you had a complaint, then there are two mechanisms, two routes that you can take. One will be through the Guam Association of Realtors, and you file a grievance. So that grievance, of course, has to be a statement. There's a form completed. You have to sign it and state what the case was that you're complaining about. And then that goes before a grievance committee within the Guam Association of Realtors. So they convene. They look over the case. They check from our code of ethics. We have articles in the code that they look to see, was there a violation based on our code of ethics? So, for example, if Gina violated Article 3, for example, whatever that case, then from that point, if they found that there was an actual violation, then that case is forwarded to the Professional Standards Committee. Now, the Professional Standards Committee serves like a hearing board. They hear both cases to see what happened, what the issues were, and then from there, action is taken. Mm-hmm. The other mechanism will be to file a complaint with the Real Estate Commission, which is with the Department of Revenue and Taxation. And that's another mechanism that the route you can take to file your complaint. So it's just a question of what type of complaint you have.
And I would dare say that nobody knows, this operating environment or, what the Guam Association of Realtors probably does better than both of you, because both of you have been involved with that organization on the leadership level and as members for a very, very long time.
That's correct.
Yeah, definitely as members, but that's the key. We're bringing this up today because in the last month or two, there have been stories in the news about different brokers and different real estate companies. And we want people to know and to understand there are mechanisms in place. The thing that I find interesting is, though, over the years, I believe the way, our code of ethics, it has evolved to respond to the current market and how people view things these days. So I'm finding the code of ethics over the years, it has changed. And for those of us who've been in the business a while, some of the changes we agree with, some of the changes we're still really trying hard to incorporate into our day-to-day business, because, you get used to doing the things the way you do it, right? And then they change the rules because the political nature, real estate has its politics as well. And based on that, it has affected our code of ethics, and we're trying to put that in place. And so it's an ever-changing thing, but the thing that does not change is how the Real Estate Commission views it. If our violation really falls under the Guam law, then the State Commission has the ability to remove our license. And so, as Liz pointed out, it really depends on what the issue is, where you're going to go. If it's something that involves Guam law, then the Real Estate Commission has the ability to hear it. You can't just file a complaint, expect them to take away my license like tomorrow. They're going to go through the process. But at the end of it, if they find that I did violate, that I knowingly violated one of the laws and I did it on purpose to try to swindle a customer, then I can actually lose my license.
That is the key element, right? Because and again, I'm just being completely hypothetical here. What if I felt as a consumer that I may have seen posters or the billboards from each of you ladies, and Liz, you said you were licensed multiple times over, and so I went with you based on that implied trust. And then Gina, you put on your poster that you cleared $10 million in sales last month, and realistically you did like $100 and everything like that. If there was a deliberate intent to deceive or dissuade like the consumer and everything, that would be grounds, right?
Well, it just, like, as Gina puts it, there are different cases. So the Guam Association has their process. So does the Real Estate Commission. They also have their process. They have to, there's due process, so they'd have to do a hearing.
Sure.
But
and
yes,
you know about this, Liz, too, because of your work with mediation.
right. And we as realtors, I think Gina and I's biggest concern is we're getting slammed because of a few out there. Realtors are being slammed because there are a few out there that are not following the rules and the guidelines. But we want to protect the community, and there is a mechanism. So if you find that there is an issue that you encountered, please come forward. Of course, we will review it. It goes, if there is a violation of the code of ethics, then yes, that case will move forward. Now, each of us realtors are required to take the ethics course on a regular basis if we want to keep our license. So some who do not complete that course, eventually they are not able to renew their realtor license and have access to our multiple listing service. So it does affect them. But at the same time, the biggest concern is the community, that they do have, the mechanisms to file a complaint if there are issues that they've encountered.
And Guam is small, so reputation counts a lot in this community where you don't have like 100,000 different realtors and everything like that. I mean, there were way many more realtors than I ever knew existed in GAR, but still, like reputation counts for a lot in this market, I would think.
We have about 580, and it keeps adding, so we may have more than that, but we do have quite a big group of realtors on this island. That's correct.
Now, Gina, now that we've established that this is what you can do, would you enlighten me, like realistically, how often does this thing happen, like on Guam, and what types of concerns or grievances tend to be filed?
Well, in the number of years I've been in real estate, I've seen it happen more than I would like to, but not as often.
That's fair.
Back. Honestly, I don't think so. In some of the cases that I've had an opportunity to participate with, you can see that what had happened was just based out of inexperience, not being trained properly. But what we're really talking about, what has come up recently, is a little bit beyond that. It is, the complaints seem it's not on a. These aren't code of ethics issues. I mean, yes, they are, but they're really a little bit deeper than that. Gotcha. But I just want people to understand. And Liz is, I get frustrated as well, but Liz is really good at pointing out everyone is innocent until you've had an opportunity to investigate everything and you've looked at it. And it can't just be one person. It's a process. It's a group of people, because you certainly don't want to affect someone's livelihood without going through that process. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be right. And at the same time, these organizations, these government agencies that oversee this, and the Guam Association of Realtors, they also have a responsibility to make sure that if these complaints are correct and true, that they put in mechanisms and actions to protect the community. That's what they're there for. Absolutely. But you have to process.
Okay, so Liz, you got the final word. We got about 15 seconds.
Well, I think what we're trying to do with the Guam associations is provide more training for new brokers that come online about what their responsibilities are and their liabilities. So you can't just open a brokerage and think it's going to run itself. You have to provide the proper training and guidance for for your agents. Now, I know the Real Estate Commission is looking at, you cannot, you can't just get a broker's license. You have to be operating for 2 years in order to do that. But they're looking at changing it to include a number of transactions. So if you've been a broker for 2 years, but have not done any, maybe 1 or 2 transactions, that's not going to qualify you to get a broker's license. So if they say you have to produce X number of transactions to show that you've had the experience in conducting real estate on a daily basis, then, so that is a change that I think the commission is looking at, but it's warranted, especially looking at what's happening now. So yeah, we're going to conduct more trainings to educate our group and to protect the community's interests.
Well, we do know, and you guys have educated me and all of our viewers, that in the real estate business on Guam, there are a lot of checks that get signed, a lot of checks that pass, but there's also a system of checks and balances, as we've now seen, and everything like that. And that's to make the business industry fair. So ladies, thank you so much for shining light on this. Very informative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.